not the day.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
The anniversary.
Now, in the invitation says that all are welcomed. Does that encompass people of different faiths and beliefs, even people who are not even religious people? Are they welcomed as well?
Everyone is welcomed. Okay. Everyone, regardless of what your background, whatever denomination, whatever your religious persuasions are, you're welcome to come. We encourage friends, family members, you name it, to be there. The objective of it, obviously, is all about the meaning of Jesus' sacrifice. And one's attending is a means of demonstrating appreciation. So everyone that believes in Christ, Jesus, believes in his message, believes in his life and what he has done for all of mankind.
Okay.
Everyone is welcome.
Now, that Memorial Day, usually other faiths have other events, and usually whenever you have this coming together of such a large number of persons, running an organization like that has financial obligations, costs, and so forth. So usually other faiths would use these opportunities to do collections and so forth, but it is stated that on that day no collection will be taken. Why is that so?
Because that's what we've never done that. Not only for our memorial, which we're observing this year on Saturday, but if you come to any of our places of worship, the Kingdom Halls of Jehovah's Witnesses, never will you be asked, never will a plate or a basket or any other collection device, simply because Jesus said, you received free, give free. And so we don't have collections. So those coming, we hope as many come again. You don't have to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses. You don't even have to be someone that belongs to a particular faith. It is open, as Ricky says, to all. We want them to come and really reflect with us on the significance of that memorial. You will not feel obligated that you will have to make any sort of contribution.
Okay. And usually it's into the Easter season, the crucifixion and the death and the resurrection, and the breaking of bread and the drinking of wine is synonymous to that time of year within the Christian faith. In your celebration, certain or a minimal number of people will have access to the breaking of bread and the drinking of the wine. Why is that so?
If you've been to a wedding, you've been invited to a wedding. Maybe it's not yours, but you've been invited to a wedding. The two people getting married are the ones that will say the vows.
Okay.
The rest of the audience are observers, and they celebrate the joy of this couple marriage. It's similar to the memorial. The memorial is, as you said, there's a passing of the bread and the wine, and that has certain significance, which will be explained in the talk that is given, a half-hour talk that is given. Some will partake, others will observe, but both will benefit. That's the beauty of the memorial, that whether you partake or you observe, just like in a wedding, whether you're saying the vows, and for those saying the vows, that's very significant to them, but for the others, their friends, their families, their colleagues there, it's also significant because they're celebrating the joy of that event. Likewise, they too are going to benefit. So again, people want to know, well, why some take and some don't. That's going to be all explained in that little talk at the very beginning. So we want you to come.
I will do my best. I will do my best. I definitely will. I usually don't turn down these opportunities, you know. I try to gather as much experience and knowledge as possible as it relates to anything with the man above, you know. So I don't have boundaries when it comes to getting the word, you know. That's that. Another thing that you know, we notice is that many denominations celebrate the birth of Christ, the resurrection, that period, differently. From a Jehovah's Witnesses standpoint, how do you go about celebrating that period?
Well, again, Jesus said, keep doing this in remembrance. What was it this? Was the the last evening meal he had with them. And so when he had passed the bread and then the wine, he said, that's what I want you to do. When he was resurrected, he spent about approximately 40 days before he ascended to heaven. The Bible doesn't record any scripture where he says, remember when I was resurrected. It was important. We're glad that God brought him, his Father brought him back to life. But Jesus only instructed his disciples to observe his death. And that may seem a little strange. Why celebrate a death or observe a death and not a resurrection? Again, there is a lot of significance tied up to why he died. And that is explained in that talk on Saturday. Why should we observe and remember his death more so than his resurrection? That's why there's a difference. So while Easter, people are celebrating his resurrection and so forth, the simple reason why we don't celebrate that is because Jesus didn't tell us to.
Wow, that's interesting. I mean, it's all denominational principles and interpretations, and there are folks who might be questioning now, which one is right? Which is right?
That's where the Bible comes in, and that's where the differentiation comes in. All of what we do is guided by the Bible. It's rooted by the Bible, not in customs or traditions, but it is rooted in the scriptures. And as Martin just mentioned, the memorial has its root in the scriptures. In the scriptures in Luke 22, just when Jesus was having the last meal he had, he said, keep doing this in remembrance of me.
And this is specific, eh? This.
That's it.
This. Not just anything, but keep doing
this specific event.
Yeah.
So hence the reason why it is that this is so important to us. And not only what is done, but important, as Martin earlier mentioned, when it is done. If you have your anniversary any day of the year, that would defeat the meaning and the purpose of it. It's a day that you set aside. People take vacation, they take time out from work so that they can spend with their mates, to spend that special time. That's how we view the memorial.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I get the drift. Good morning, Mike. Mike is going to come back and continue with the conversation. Okay. Invitation is given. You expect a huge turnout. All right. I hope there's a big turnout. When that event is completed, what would be the main message you'd want participants to leave with?
The memorial for us, and we hope for all who come, is an opportunity to reflect on the two greatest expressions of love. The two greatest expressions of love. Now, you might say, well, there's a lot of expressions of love that we experience. But again, when you listen and you understand the significance of what Jesus did under the direction of his Father, to come and give his life for us. The scripture many people know by heart in John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, so that everyone, that includes you, that includes me, that includes everybody, of all races, of all tribes, of all languages, everyone, God didn't just pick a certain group of people, can have everlasting life. And so, just as if you were married and you have an anniversary, you take that day to reflect on, you've decided to become one with another person.
You go through all the courtship remembrance and everything like that.
And this is the love of your life. It allows us on this coming Saturday to think about what our God, our Father, Jehovah, has done for us, and what his Son has willingly done by giving up his life. What should that mean for us? Why did he do it? And what hope that holds out for us in the future?
Wow. I mean, having explained all of this, I hope it stimulates, as many people as possible to come out. Even if, I mean, there's nothing as too much knowledge. All right, nothing has too much knowledge. Even if you're a believer of a different faith, but it's always good. I remember in school when you're doing science, there's also always what you call the controlled experiment. All right, you do that experiment that way, but then there's the control. So hearing things from a different perspective and different interpretations, then you can go home and internalize a bit and determine which is, and that's key. Now, how can someone find the location nearest to them if they want to attend the memorial on April 12th? And that leads me to another question. So that one stands, but is it an event that would be at different Jehovah Witnesses Kingdom Halls?
Yes, it will be. We have 9 different congregations on the island, and it's going to be held at different times, different locations. And with that, if one needs to find out exactly where they would find that event, they need to just go onto our website, our official website, jw.org, and on that landing page, that's the page you will find, it's maybe featured on the screen now, you will find a portion there, find a memorial. Once one taps on it, they will have a list of all of the different kingdom halls and the different locations and the time where they can attend the memorial.
Okay.
So I see your technician is doing that. So jw.org, you see on the front page the memorial is going to be featured, and there's that button there, find location. We have 9 sites, actually 10. The congregation that I attend, we're going to observe it at the GBSS, Grenada Boys Secondary School Auditorium.
Okay.
But if that's not the closest, many people know someone who is a Jehovah's Witness, who is a friend of theirs. There's a friend. Ask them. They'll tell you that the Kingdom Hall, located in what we have Kingdom Halls all the way up in Sauters.
I was going to say that.
All over.
Guelph, Pedmata, Carriacou. Ricky goes to one down in Woodlands. So ask a Jehovah's Witness friend, and we will be happy to direct you, or go on our website, and right there on the map you're going to see there are about 9 locations where you can come, and the time is given when to come.
Okay. Now for a generalized communique, when we look at what's happening in the world today, all right, the world is on the brink of an explosion, if you want to use that term. Economically, in terms of war, President Trump is creating a stir in the economic forum and so forth. With the Jehovah Witness movement across the world, do you think your penetration and so forth could make a difference in any way in people's, maybe not in terms of the decision making by the policy makers, but in terms of people's acceptance to what is happening, getting them to that realization that these things will happen because Jehovah is about to return?
It's interesting how you phrase that. The world is, as you say, it seems to be on edge of something horrible. Like how we observe the memorial, we do exactly as Jesus did. We follow the same pattern. When Jesus was on earth, he also set the pattern for what to expect. And he laid out, when he was, in fact, just before he was put to death, a politician asked him that question, well, are you a king? And Jesus said some words there that helped us to understand that our Father, his Father, is going to intervene. And part of the memorial is going to help us understand what the future holds for us. As Jehovah's Witnesses, we are so keen to share that message as it is recorded in the Bible. What is God going to do about the situation we're in? As people say locally, God put a hand. Put a hand. He is. How? The Bible lays that out. And so we invite all, you don't have to be a Jehovah's Witness. Just be curious as to what is God, if he exists, going to do about the situation? Is he going to fix it? How is he going to fix it? All of that is explained in the Bible. And we invite people to come not only to the memorial, but we have our meetings every week on Sundays for most of us, some of us on Saturdays, depending on which area you go to, where we use the Bible to answer that question you have just raised.
And not just that question, but a plethora of other questions.
A lot of other questions.
Yeah. A good friend of mine, my brother from another mother, is saying, let's go together, bro. I'll pick you up and take you back home.
Please go take up the offer.
If I could,
Please come in.
If I could add this too, Gordon, we also recognize that people are having challenges in coping. Not many people today can cope
with life.
With life, cope with the issues that are confronting them. There's anxieties over what is taking place. We firmly believe that in the message contained in God's word, we can help persons to endure, because that's what it entails. We might not be able to change the situation. We might not be able to impact on the events taking place. But what we can do is to be able to manage and to cope. And that's where our role, the educational work we engage in, is designed to help persons to see how they can not just deal with the issues, be able to cope with it, to endure, until such time that the expectation that we have with Jehovah remedying the situation, we can have that conviction is going to come.
It is often said that when a fire is in your house, God might not necessarily extinguish the fire, but he might just make you fireproof.
It's an interesting way of thinking of it. Yes.
Yeah.
So that is so true that we have found. One thing people know about Jehovah's Witnesses is that we refer to the Bible as our guide, as our source of direction, what to do, or, as you said, how to fireproof ourselves, how to deal with the challenges that all of us face. I mean, it's not just people of a certain faith. All of us are facing these challenges that you just outlined a little earlier on. And how can the Bible show us, firstly, how to deal with it, but equally exciting, is there a solution? And if so, what it is, when will it happen?
Okay. Well, any final words? We've exhausted the time. We've got to join the BBC, but I must tell you that this conversation has been very exciting and, thought-provoking. I hope that the viewing and listening audience feel the same. I know Mike is feeling the same. He's excited, anxiously. So, Mike, that's the deal. We'll go through this, right? Yeah, we'll definitely come. Yeah, if he's pushing me to go, we'll come.
Please, and bring your family. Bring your family. It's not only for the adults. We want all to come. So, again, Saturday, the 12th, that's this coming Saturday, at various locations. I will be at the GBSS auditorium. Ricky's going to be at the Kingdom Hall in Woodlands, but there are other locations. Go to jw.org. You get the information as to which is the closest location to you. But please come. You do not have to be a witness, a Jehovah's Witness. Come and just hear about why did Jesus come and offer his life. And there's a lot of meaning in that, and a lot of ways we can show appreciation for what he did.
Parting words from you.
I will say this also, that we certainly look forward to welcoming all who attend, and we just also want to let everyone know that they are going to be part of an event that not just locally held here, but millions, over 20 million attended last year. And it's something that we have almost every year. So you're going to be part of a large event, an occasion that's going to instill hope, it's going to instill confidence in a future that is ahead of us, all made possible on the ransom sacrifice of Jesus Christ.
Gentlemen, thank you very much, and we'll see on Saturday.
Looking forward.
Yeah, we'll see on Saturday.
All
right. Folks, that's it for the conversation. We've got to join the BBC, which is already in progress. Thank you for your viewership, your listenership, and your participation, even as a listener or viewer. Thank you. Bye-bye.